r/ask Reddit. What's the worst place to hear a no? The delivery room in a hospital. How me and siblings was born. The oldest turned around. But first, when the water broke, the next one came out face first and I was kind of stuck somehow. At the DMV. Worst freaking feeling. God, I hate all the damn redundancies in the DMV so much. Like with all those hoops to jump through, you're bound to have something go wrong somewhere. Chicago DMV has this game where no matter what paperwork you brought, you didn't bring the right one. You brought the slip we mailed you? No, you needed to bring a paper copy of a utility bill that was mailed to you. You brought a bill? No, you needed to print out an insurance form. You brought an insurance form? No, you needed to bring a, My home state is like this, so when I went to the DMV in my new more lax one, with a smaller population by far, they practically laughed at my file folder with a handle on it. I was like, you don't understand. I refused to be told you needed a copy of my lease, instead of a bill to prove residence, or that you need both the social security card and the birth certificate, not just one. Still feel justified in doing that since it was one trip and 25 minutes, instead of hours wasted. Birth certificates are probably one of the dumbest forms of ID I can imagine. Tattoo parlor after the artist stops abruptly. Don't worry, it's just a happy accident. When you come out of anesthetic and hear the surgeon say it. When you go into anesthetic and hear the surgeon say it. When you are in surgery and hear the anesthesiologist say it. This happened to me during my C-section. Worst experience ever. Didn't happen to me day of surgery, just a 15 days later. Broke my left leg, and by broke, I mean smashed both bones into 40 pieces. Doctors put me together again, by shoving a metal rod down from my kneecap to ankle, and picking up the pieces of bone like Cheerios on a chopstick. Went home a few days after surgery, and came back for my first follow-up. Doctor told me to sit on the table, and put both legs flat. I did. He said no, put them both flat. I did again. He said no, and this time pushed my left knee down, expecting the leg to extend to the same length as my other one. It did not go down, because it was already flat. He had made my leg almost 2 inches shorter than the other. Cue the doc. Back in for emergency surgery that evening, and the second time I woke up, there were very obvious marks on my right leg that they had used to measure. Took almost 2 years for the bone to grow and fill in the gaps. Holy, that's so much worse than my experience. The bathroom stall. WHO does number 2 work for? That's right, you show him who's boss. Jesus Christ boy. What did you eat? Show that turd who's boss. When a toddler has locked themselves in the bathroom. Hearing it from a toddler at all is cause for concern, to be honest. Made worse when you can't immediately check on them. Yep, that dash from the kitchen to the lounge asking what? What? And getting no response is pure panic and fear. The worst is when it's something non-dangerous and you just work them up over something stupid. Yeah, but you know the first time you don't respond to one of them is going to have colored a cream carpet with a black marker. On a roller coaster. Imagine the roller coaster being temporarily stopped because it's raining. And people are still on the roller coaster which is out in the rain. Or having the roller coaster temporarily stop in the rain while everyone's hanging upside down. Right after this is your captain speaking. What's wrong with Captain Yuho? Followed by pull up. Getting a haircut. Had to scroll way too far to see this. This will potentially frick up the next few weeks of your life. I though so too last time I got a botched trim. Hated it at first, but then it grew on me. The morgue. Back so soon? First time? No, I've been nervous lots of times. Stakes seem low there. It's not like you're gonna lose the patient. Hey, Ted, have you seen that cadaver I was working on? The control room of a nuclear power plant. That actually happens more than you think. Lots of times it's just a math error or a portal issue with the controls, not the reactor itself. Yeah, in a nuclear control room the exclamation to look out for is FUAC. Or even just run. I mean, would running even do you any good in that situation? The length of time between when you know an absolute disaster is going to occur and the point where the disaster actually occurs can be quite lengthy. Hours or even days might pass where there is nothing you can do beyond warning everyone they're going to have a really bad day. When you wake up in the middle of a surgery, right before you go under, let's get this leg amputation over and done with. It was appendicitis. A cockpit from the pilot's seat. Edited to add. Okay, enough people have told me about the Challenger. It's tragic. But please stop filling my inbox with the same reply. Or when the pilot is doing the announcement thingy and you hear, and the fasten seatbelt sign is, IO. Static. Exactly what I came here to say. My dad flew for the Navy. One time my dad was sitting next to my godfather as passengers on a puddle jumper from one island in Hawaii to another. After the passengers had boarded and during the usual pre-flight cacophony of whirs and buzzes, my dad was starting to doze off and he suddenly opened his eyes and said, IO. Sure enough, the flight was delayed and they had to deplane due to mechanical issues they couldn't fix with passengers aboard. My godfather won't sit next to him on flights anymore. He said that ignorance is bliss and he'd rather not know ahead of time if he's going to die from a plane crash. That's a great story. Although I would imagine that in most instances, there would be so much time from something going noticeably wrong to hitting the ground that you'd be well aware you were about to die anyway. I had to read this twice. I was confused about why he said "uh-oh" in his sleep, then remembered that a moment ago you said he was a pilot so he'd know what sounded normal and what didn't. Clearly something didn't sound good. Hence the "uh-oh." When assembling IKEA furniture, missed a key part of step 2 when you're on step 14. Take it slow, people. The directions are clear, but human error can be brutal. I would say the directions are accurate, not necessarily clear. This right here. I have 2 pieces of non-IKEA furniture that are assembled incorrectly. Both times it was a chirality issue where the left side got installed on the right side and vice versa. The first thing just looks kind of ugly, but it's only if you know where to look. The second one was an actual problem, but I drilled some more holes to avoid having to disassemble and reassemble the thing. Going through that process felt like it was a significantly better barometer into my relationship with my wife than dating and premarital counseling. The pit I felt in my stomach when I realized I fricked up the furniture was unreal. And the way that my wife and I came together to deal with the issue, even though we were both really frustrated, was pretty heartening. Honestly, I would suggest every couple to put together some IKEA furniture with incorrect instructions and missing parts if they're thinking about getting married. For whatever reason, that process contains so much more misery than should be possible. And seeing how you deal with the chaos with another person will give some insight into how you'll deal life's setbacks and frustrations with each other. Dentist. Twice. After drilling out the wrong tooth. Twice. True story. Skydiving. Kind of happened in the dentist office. I was getting an implant, feeling quite uncomfortable as the dentist was twisting the base into place in my jaw, when suddenly the room went silent. The dentist pulled back, then without a word, left the room. I could hear a muffled conversation between him and a colleague. When he came back and he said, "The implant has broken. We're looking around to see if we can find one the right size. In the meantime, we're going to have to remove what we've already installed. We'll do our best to make you comfortable. I don't have real good teeth, and I've been to the dentist hundreds of times in my life, but that day was the absolute worst. Oh no. I got dental implants and did hear an "oh" because he thought the drill infiltrated my sinus. Fortunately he rechecked and we were all good, but lord, I can already hear the PTSD kicking in. Hooey, thanks for the nightmare fuel. I'm sincerely sorry that you had to experience that. Mission control shortly after takeoff. Worse. As with Challenger, they go silent. Last thing they heard over the communications loop was Dong Scobby saying "IO" while getting a vasectomy. Well, the good news is you definitely won't be getting anyone pregnant anymore. In the future, perhaps an antimatter containment center at the Large Hadron Collider. Chernobyl, Pripyat, the Soviet Union. 50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town. When you're having sex with a condom. I prefer having sex with women, but you do you. What makes the condom say no? At the doctor's office. In an operating room when you're about to have surgery and you're about to fall asleep. Congrats, you've made it to the end. You're a beast. Like and subscribe for more r/ask Reddit content. It's free, so why not just do it?